Hi, Roy here on my channel Roy Reads Anything, where I usually talk about books, that kind of thing. Today we're doing a tag. This is the Pet Peeves Tag, original tag created by Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics. So, getting into that then, we're both going to do it. So it's 2 for the price of 1. So pet peeves, some of these, are they peeves? We will see. Number 1, do you use or read along with audiobooks? Well, it's a definite yes, isn't
Well,
it?
use them, yeah, absolutely.
Use them and abuse them.
Wouldn't read along with one.
No, I have done that.
Yeah.
But usually what I find is if I think, this book's going to be so long, I need to be able to read and listen and read again. If it's any good, I get caught up in it and just power through it in one form or another, really. Yeah. So I'd be peeved if I was on a train and somebody was listening on headphones and they were reading along out loud.
Oh God, yes, that would be barbarism of the worst sort.
It was a dark and stormy night. Okay, number 2. Do you utilise your local library? Well, it's a yes from me.
Yeah, you've got 2 libraries that you utilise.
Sort of. But I mean, the town library, I have got a card, renewed my card, had a few books.
See, I have to say, to my eternal shame, and I've said this before, given that my avocation was librarian, and I spent my first 3 years at work in a public library, I don't actually use the public library at all. No, I think it's... I know.
Well, but it's not we're not against them.
No, God, no. I think they're great.
But we'd be peeved if it was being threatened in any way.
Yes, well, I already am in a constant state of peevishness about what our current government is doing.
I tell you something that has emerged as a library-related peeve, and that's things that aren't really libraries being called libraries.
Oh, absolutely.
When it's like a phone box or something.
Yeah.
Because although that's really cool, what it is really good. But if it's like a palliative for libraries are gone, but here's a phone box.
A phone box full of tatty old paperbacks.
Yeah.
Take one, leave one. You see, that's not it's a book swap if it's like that.
Hasn't got all the community.
Library has its community within which it sits. It has knowledgeable staff who know what their public is likely to want to read. It knows how to get hold of information that it hasn't got itself, and collection development policy and all that kind of thing that I used to know about when I was a librarian. A phone box or a orange crate in somebody's front garden.
So we're not against them,
libraries.
Just against them being oversold, I suppose.
Not libraries.
Number 3, do you DNF books? I do. That's my answer.
I do.
You don't like to?
Well, I had this thing on when I was on Mastodon, which sort of like Twitter but nicer.
I don't know why that's a Mastodon.
Yeah, I was on Mastodon. I posted one bright morn, just as a kind of, well, look, this is me in the world. I posted, I'm reading this book, and I'm not sure whether I like it. I'm keeping reading it, and it's all right. It's not a problem. Hey ho, there's me. And I suddenly got this, it wasn't a flood, it was about 10 people going, oh, life's too short to read a book you're not enjoying. DNF it. And it irked me and made me very peevish because I hadn't asked for advice. I just stated what I was, the way you do on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. If I'd wanted advice, I'd have said, should I abandon this book or carry on reading it? But no, it's just, oh, life's too short, blah, 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 life's too short, life's too short. I think it was that kind of cavalier use of the phrase life's too short that peeved me. And only one person said, yeah, I understand that. I do that all the time. Oh, yay.
Mm-hmm.
Sibling, I love you. So, yeah, it was being bossed about by people I don't know.
Okay,
that
so
peeved me.
that's a related peeve.
But it takes a lot to get me to abandon a book.
Even if it's not perfect.
Even if it's not perfect. And that book, specific book that I was talking about, which was a Elizabethan murder story, I did finish and I enjoyed it, and I bought the next one in the series. So, you know.
So you could have lost out if you'd DNF.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Lost. You know, I'd have read something else.
Life would have been ruined.
Shall we?
Do you read multiple books at the same time? Well, I do, and having a bit of a butterfly brain, I like that, because I like to have different kinds of things on the go, like a non-fiction and a fiction, and I like to have a physical book and a Kindle book, and maybe a book that I read on the Kindle app on my phone, so I sort of have books for all seasons, really. And although that sometimes means it takes ages to finish any of them, I actually quite like that. And also short stories. If I've read a short story, I like to finish that and digest it and go away, rather than power through a whole anthology of short stories by the same author. So I'm all for the multiples. I'm the book multiverse person.
You are. Whereas I'm pretty much one book at a time. Because my memory is so poor these days because of the fibromyalgia. So I get this thing called fibro fog. I just can't remember plot, and if I was reading two books, that would be chaos. I suppose I do have two books on the go at the same time, because I've usually got a book of poetry going. But that's kind of different.
Yeah, it is very different mode of reading.
Yeah, it's a different part of my brain.
Yeah, okay, good.
So, yeah.
Number 5, do you make time or have a specific time in your day devoted to reading?
Well, that's called a day, isn't it, really?
We've got nothing better to do.
Now we're old, what else are we going to do?
Well, we started going to sleep like loads later during lockdown and never got out of the habit. So we tend to spend the last hour or two of the day reading, I think.
Yeah, but I'll be reading during the day as well. I don't think you do so much, do you?
No, not so much.
But you read a lot at night.
Yeah, and if I wake up with my old man's extra daytime of like an hour or so in the middle of the night, I might spend that reading as well. So I'd be peeved if that time was derailed, I suppose. I
get peevish if I get to bedtime and I'm too tired to read.
Yeah, I know.
Because my brain expects me to read for a couple of hours before I go to sleep.
Stupid bodies.
Plumbing bodies. I'm not having one next time.
No.
Coming back as a disembodied thing.
Do you dog-ear books?
Only my own.
Well,
I think
God, yeah.
I'm legitimately entitled to do exactly what I like with my own books. Write on them, lay them down, face down so the spine cracks.
I try not to.
To dog ear?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird, I own, a bit like fancy notebooks, I own many a lovely bookmark. But for some reason, the things I use as bookmarks tend to be envelopes, receipts, torn off bits of things, even objects like spoons or something that are not even designed for the purpose.
So I won't make you a beautifully crafted bookmark for Christmas then.
It's wasted on me, really.
Yeah. Wasted on him.
I do sometimes do a kind of semi-dog earing where I just gently give a a sort of slight folding of the thing that doesn't make an actual crease.
Just dog ear it,
so
man.
it'll be probably will fall open at that point when I go back to it.
I suppose the other thing with me is because I read most of what I read, novel-wise, most of what I read on the Kindle. They ought to have a dog ear facility. I know there's bookmarks, but you should actually be able to allow to dog ear your Kindle books.
Well, on the Scribe, you could draw a dog ear on a PDF.
But I haven't got a Scribe.
Yeah, well, you never know. See what Santa might do. Going back to DNFing, though, I mean, there must be a peeve that makes with the book, or a book that makes you DNF it. See, with me, it's typos and grammatical errors and stuff, especially in, unfortunately, in self-published and indie books, you do sometimes can throw me out a bit.
Yeah. I particularly get. I mean, there's lots of things. Just half-assed writing basically annoys me, but things like and this is particularly seems to happen in YA and post YA fiction, people using words where it's obvious that they don't know what the word means, and an editor should pick that up. But so again, poor memory, can't remember a lot of examples, but one from a book I read recently described a group of people running away from guards. So trying to be hidden and not obvious, and then it says they clamoured up a staircase. Well, the whole point of a clamour is to make noise, to draw attention to yourself. So the poor are at the gates clamouring for bread, say. What they really meant, I think, was clamber. And as I say, a good editor would pick that up and just correct it.
But is there such a thing as being so, you'd hardly read any books if you were so hot on that these days.
Yeah.
Ditto anachronisms, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, I do generally let that.
Do you give people a few passes?
If it keeps happening, but it does peeve me.
Right then, back to the thingies. 7, do you annotate your books? Yes.
Hell yeah.
Academic books, I wouldn't annotate fiction or stuff that I thought was probably going to be passed on. Again, Kindle Scribe, hooray for little notes and stuff. But generally speaking, yes, for my own keeping academic stuff.
And I, again, annotate non-fiction. Again, on Kindle. I wouldn't annotate fiction, although I will sometimes copy a quote out, and I've got a little box that I've got 4x5 index cards in, and if I see something, a phrase or sentence or group of sentences that I like, I'll copy them out with a reference to where I found them, and that's all part of the process of keeping stuff that might eventually end up in poems.
Oh, right. So you've carried that over from your academic.
Box.
Oh, well, if it's handy.
I have it here.
There's a little box coming.
Little box, look. Little box. I made it. Well, I decorated it. Beautiful.
Check 'em out.
Blackwing pencil. Lovely Blackwing pencil.
But I've got plenty of Blackwing pencils. I haven't got lids on them.
Well, I bought the lids separately, didn't I?
Okay.
I chose one that kind of
from Blackwing.
No, off Amazon. I got 10 for.
Anyway, we're straying off into the pet crafts thing. The last question is, what do you feel about spoilers?
I'm against them.
Yeah.
Can't be doing with them.
I mean, I don't run out into the street screaming. Just
that's news to me.
Not not keen. It's good when people give you the choice. You
Yeah.
can stop this. I mean,
Yeah.
I do sometimes wonder, like, is it really necessary to give spoiler warnings when it's like a 200-year-old thing? But then increasingly, I know loads of people, they've not read, say Dracula, for instance. So assuming everybody's read the same things, maybe that is perilous.
Maybe it is, yeah.
Well, that is the Pet Peeves tag. We've been peevish at you. We try and keep things on an even keel normally, but we've unleashed our peevish side.
Unleashed our demons.
Yeah. So this tag's been around quite a while, so I don't think I'll individually tag people because to avoid the embarrassment of re-tagging people, which that'd set up a kind of perturbation in the forum. That might be somebody's pet peeve. They tagged me. They hadn't even checked whether I'd already been tagged for that. So tag yourself should you want to. And we'll be back soon with something else. Okay, bye.
Bye.